Okay, here we are with Jared Taylor of shit. Let's see, you got Air Force, TACP, Black Rifle, Article 15, Range 15, fucking 10 podcasts.
I lost track, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, let's talk movies. I don't know if you could tell my background here is from the Jack Nicholson. Yep.
I know that carpet.
Probably the first movie to ever scare the shit out of me as a child.
Yeah, I would say that was an early one as well. I also remember, I'm pretty sure I saw The Shining around the time I was 10-ish, and then I want to say around when I was 13 or 14, NBC did a like 6-part remake of it that was like made for. It was super cool because that was the first time I'd ever seen a remake before.
Yeah.
When that shit was new. Also, that was the first time. That was one of the very early times a network did a multi-part series with a high quality like movie cinema style. So it was like you didn't really see that stuff back then,
Yeah, it was basically, and it seems like it was all Stephen King things because it was like It, and then The Shining, and I remember watching it and I didn't see Jack Nicholson, and I was like, oh, this can't be The Shining. It looks like The Shining, but it can't be The Shining. And then
Dreamcatcher was one too.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, I remember that. Like, I've been wanting to go to the Stanley Hotel quite a bit, but never got a chance to make it out there. Maybe that's something I'll try and do this year and check it out. I would love to go out there. It would be super cool.
You should go ghost hunting there. I'm sure they'll let you.
Well, I doubt there's any ghosts in a place that was just fictional ghosts.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, well, hey, all old buildings have some secrets.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, especially if they were around during the cocaine era.
Well, I mean, really, I wonder. I'm interested to dive into the Stanley Hotel's history because I'm sure because of the movie, people have done some weird shit there. I mean, there's got to be somebody that specifically got a room there to commit suicide or something. So there's got to be some weird shit that has gone on in the Stanley Hotel.
Yeah, somebody's trying to pad their obituary. Like, yeah, they fucking jumped from the 3rd floor of the Stanley Hotel. Yeah, so I said movie star. I watched Range 15 again. Did some homework and everything. And the question I came out of there was that like a dream come true, being on the set of your own movie, or were you too wrapped up into it to even?
That is a really funny question because I have that same thing in my head. I have to remind myself that it was a dream come true, but it was so incredibly stressful and just frustrating that I never got a chance to enjoy it. And really, it won't be until this year when I'm doing another film, like another actual scripted fiction, funny comedy film. I think this one is going to be a night and day difference. This one will be the one where I say that was my dream come true. Like, yes, it was crazy. It was crazy and amazing, but the schedule was 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day for 14 straight days. And not only are we the leads of the movie that are in almost every scene, because if you notice, the weird thing about Range 15 is we never split up. So it's all of us, every time. So it's like, there was no break where it was like, oh, they're filming those scenes, so we just get to chill. So additionally to us being in almost every scene of the movie, we're the executive producers. So at the end of the day, when the line producers are giving us these briefings on, did things go over budget? What broke? What drama happened between departments? Because, man, it's a movie is if you go with a piecemealed production crew, for those of you that don't know, what goes into movie production, you have different departments. You have G&E, General Electric. You got Grip and Electric. you've got camera, you got the creative director and art director, and that's who takes care of all props and sets and scenery. Then you've got your director, you have your line producers, you have your PAs, and then your sound department. So what's weird about a film set is I feel there's a lack of structure and leadership in it, in the aspect of when you grab different departments like this to build one production crew, you're taking, a 4-person sound crew. That's an audio mixer, sound designer, or like sound effects specialist or sound specialist, and then a boom operator, a couple assistant sound guys that are laving people up and everything like that. So you've got this pocket of people. Then you've got grip and electric, all your lighting and your electric guys, that this pocket of people and personalities. And then you've got the creative department, which is sets and props. Well, all these people just work essentially for the director and the first AD. The first AD is the person that makes sure everybody's where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there. And if you don't have a good first AD, your production falls to fucking shit right away. So when you are piecemealing this all together, you get fights because everybody's excuse is, well, I don't work for you. So when G&E, when Grip and Electric are trying to light a set and they're arguing with the creative department or the art department, there's fighting going on. Well, I need this couch here and this set has to be like this. Well, we can't put that couch there because the light has to go there and this. So when you don't have really good management and you don't have a production crew that hasn't worked together, it's a fucking mess. And on that, we had a lot of points of drama on that set because really the art department was fucking fighting with everybody. And that's affecting us because we're getting that report at the end of the night. There was even there's an entirely huge change in the movie, in the original script, because our art director had a fucking little bitch pussy fit and locked the prop truck and went home while we were still filming. So we couldn't get a script moving prop that was a major scene for us. And we had to rewrite that scene to make sense because we couldn't get in the grip truck or the prop truck because this fuckface locked it up and ran away.
And on a true indie film like Range 15, which I would think is probably the most independent of all, it's because since it was basically crowdsourced, was you can't just be like, oh, we'll wait for him to calm down and figure this out.
We didn't have, every day on that set cost us $88,000. There's 110 people working there every day. So, and we spent over what we raised. I believe when it came down to it, we probably spent between 1.8 and $2 million. Like we raised 1.35, I think. So we could not make a day, because that's kind of what you're doing is once you go into shooting and you go into production, what pages of the script you have to get done that day to make the day. We had no wiggle room. There was no reshoots. There's nothing. And really there's actually again, if I were to watch this movie with you, I can show you things that there was one scene that got messed up that we ended up having to film a piece of on 3 different days rather than the full day that we had set for it, because things we lost, somebody lost the keys to the Humvee, surprisingly. Yeah, that Humvee had keys, and they were lost. So we couldn't use the Humvee for a day, and that fucked us up. So we had to add another pretend day in the movie, whereas in the original script it's like 48 hours from start to finish that happened. But to save what we did because of light and because of the dark, how we were losing sun in some of these shots, and we had to reshoot some of them over the course of the next 3 days, we had to add another day going by, which was never in the original script. So there's a lot of really cool things. Like, it's frustrating and crazy. I can say now, yes, it was an awesome experience, but I mean, you start getting me going on that, I still want a fucking blood.
Well, I mean, you guys basically got 2 movies out of it, because you did Range 15 and then Not a War Story.
Well, that was the original plan. So when I had developed the initial plan of what first was called Zone 15, I had done that as a marketing plan, is hire a second unit to do the documentary. And originally I wanted to release the documentary 30 days before the movie, because imagine if you saw Not a War Story before you saw Range 15, you would be amped to see Range 15.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the original plan. And it just didn't go as planned, as you can see.
Well, I mean, like, you know, watching it, it's like, man, I can't believe that it's all of these guys' first, you know, movie, and they have the weight of the entire production on their shoulders. They're acting, writing, producing, you know.
Well, and it's the weight of the veteran community. This was the first film in the veteran community, and that was the frustrating thing, is there was no I quit. There was no failure to this. If we did not deliver a film, kiss all of us goodbye as personalities, as business owners and everything, we would be known as the people that took everyone's money and never did anything with it. So there was a lot of compromise that had to come down with both inside the production and inside us. You know, there was drama inside us, because you're dealing with something that you're dealing with 7 very, very creative people that all have their own vision for this, that are now that are trying to fight for their 10 acres throughout the course of this production.
Well, I mean, you know, coming from the veteran community, and I think it's a very, you know, we're very dark humored, but also very, you know, if you fuck something up, you're gonna find out about it. You know, I fucking loved it. I thought, you know,
I would put out to you and everybody else too, is we cut our teeth with that one. The next one you will see night and day different. We've had 5 years of experience now, and that was our training wheel one.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I was watching, and I was like, okay, you know, this is gonna be good. And then as soon as when Rocco's fucking the zombie, I was like, okay, you got me. You had what is it, the fucking Django thing? You had my curiosity, now you have my attention, or something like that. Fuck. But yeah, you know, plus, like you said, the veteran community, that was the first movie made for us. Like, yeah, it was like,
we didn't pull any punches. A lot of people don't know. You know, we could have gone to Netflix. We actually turned it down. Just saying. Well, all right. And we could have gone to a lot more theaters, but the MPAA requested that we delete 4 scenes in order to get an R rating, and we said no. So we sacrificed making the movie larger with keeping the movie as planned.
Yeah, which is fantastic, and I think that you guys made the right call, because I mean, you know, I had heard of Article 15 prior. I think I could recognize the name Ranger Up, but then I was like, oh shit, these guys are combining forces and they're putting out a movie. You know, my first thought was, man, that's gonna fucking suck. But then you watch it and you're like, this is everything that I've been needing in my life. And even it helps, it's a good story too. It's not just veteran humor, it's a good zombie story.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I mean, the biggest difference with us was all of us came from a film background. You know what I mean? Like myself and Matt had been studying movies and filmmaking independently for years before this. You know, I had been doing it since I was 14, 13 years old. You know, Matt had really gotten into shooting and editing or around the 2009, 2010 time frame. Like, so this was a project that we all had dreams of. And that's kind of that's why I feel like it, it succeeded in being a finished product, is because we were all film guys.
So you mentioned, really being into movies and film since, 14. What were your influences? What got you into, like, what made you say, I want to do that, I want to write or create?
It came from skateboarding. So, it started with when I skateboarded as a kid. The whole way to progress as a skateboarder, or to try and even be a pro skateboarder, you had to have a video. So by the time I was 14, I was shooting and editing on a camcorder. I remember in eighth grade is when I made my first 2 films, which I wish I could find. I think I might have one. But in 8th grade, the first one I made was a horror movie on a big camcorder, where we were just record, stop. It was called The Hand. It was essentially my buddy, my best friend, who's also a TACP, Ben Gartner, is picking up a package outside the house, and he gets murdered by a hand. Eventually. And then the second one was in a media production class when I was in 8th grade. And it's taught by this guy, Mr. Enright. And we had the video cassette, the dual cassette editing station on a tube TV.
Yeah.
And then we could do sound on a microphone while we're doing it. So we spent over a week all building cardboard armor. And mine was painted like a cow. And we did this like Monty Python, like sword fight scene at school, and then edited it together on this VHS. So yes, I made my first 2 films when I was in 8th grade.
Well, hey, do you still have access to them? Do they?
I think I know where that Monty Python one might be.
Yeah, you got to put that in your back pocket. That's for a rainy day. But yeah, I was kind of along the same path of I think for health class in like 9th grade, we had to make like a video about, don't do drugs and shit. And I made a fake cops episode. And like just editing it, I was like, oh, I didn't know, like that was my first look behind the curtain into like how movies are made, because I had no idea. All I knew was they acted, they filmed it, and then somehow it ended up on the screen. But what do you prefer more? Do you like being in front of the camera? Do you like writing? Do you like directing?
Dude, all of it. Like I like doing the circle. So I'll go through a month where I want to, the last 2 big projects I did was for Representative Dan Crenshaw. Got to direct Texas Reloaded and Georgia Reloaded. That was really fun. I got to work with one of my longtime best friends, Joey Vasatka and Cotter Aliermi, who own Dreamseeker Productions. By the way, hands down, these guys are the best turnkey production crew I've ever worked. It was so different working with them than working on Range 15, because these guys are every department in one, and they've all worked together for over 10 years. So you see the difference of a piecemeal production crew to a production crew. They are all on a very popular network TV show that's in its 10th season. And they've been working together, but then they have a side production crew or production company where they take all of them and go work somewhere else. And it is phenomenal, because you're dealing with people that have known each other for 10 years. There's no arguing. There's no struggle for power, is what it is everybody on set knows their job, their role, what they're there to do. And you're not dealing with a bunch of drama. Of people trying to elbow their way in front of the spotlight and be like, oh, that was me. So it was great. So Joey's team and I got to do Texas Reloaded and Georgia Reloaded, and Joey EP'd that. Cotter came down and I believe was the head grip guy or gaffer. and it was cool because I used to live with these guys in Florida a decade ago, and now I get to work with them on a film set. So I'm sold.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, and you guys, Black Rifle puts out like cinema quality, videos, and I think the last one that came out is that Sci-Fi?
Yeah, Veterans of Sci-Fi.
Yeah. Which was insane. That was like a mini movie.
That was in-house, 100% in-house. Nothing was outsourced. And that was a project that Matt and Eli wanted to show everybody that we don't need anybody else. Like, here's has been our progression in-house.
Yeah.
So Gallagher Scott was the director of photography on that, who's also a Black Rifle Coffee employee. So when you went from the director, Matt, the visual effects supervisor, Eli, and Gallagher Scott, the director of photography, you're looking at what we can do with all of our own equipment that sits in our house. And like, there was nothing outsourced for that.
Yeah. Which is, it's cool to see like the progression of, it seems like you guys are kind of taking turns in each kind of role. I think Matt did the Bass Pro Shop too, didn't he direct that?
No, that one was more so directed by Sam from Corridor Digital. So okay. Matt was just the star of that, but it was a concept that came from Jake Watson, Sam, Nico, Matt, Eli, me, Evan, like everybody kind of throws, hey, this would be cool if we did this, and then we plug in where we plug in.
So did doing so many years in the military and being in some really shitty places, did you ever think that you would make it to being able to make movies and be creative and fucking be known by millions for your creativity?
In 2012, 2011, 2012, my life goal was to be a gaffer, someone that sets up lights on movies. Like that, to me, if I got to watch the production in person, I felt that's what I wanted to do. So everything after that has been a bonus. It was never like, oh, I dream of making it big or starring in a movie. No, I dreamed of setting up lights for a movie. And that was enough for me. Like that excited me. Like I would go to bed every night after watching 1,000 tutorials on the internet on visual effects and directing and shooting and everything like that. And I would be like, man, one day I'll get to be setting up a light on a real movie set. So yes, this other journey has just been the bonus.
Well, hey, I guess that's a great way to live life, right? And you're living in the bonus column.
Yeah.
Well, I forgot what I was just gonna say. Yeah, I'll come back to it. Probably not, but so you grew up in Washington, correct? So that must have given you kind of license to, I haven't been to Washington, but the way that I picture it is, forest kind of, open spaces, wilderness. Was that what you grew up in, or was that?
Yeah, I was in Kitsap County, right around Silverdale, Poulsbo area. So it was just rainy, cloudy, forest.
So basically, skateboarding and movies is what you had.
And then one of the guys that I grew up with, Casey Schmidt, he was a BMX bike rider. I was a skateboarder, but one of my really good friends, and him and I, he was into film just as much. And now he owns a very large grip company out of Bellingham, Washington called Northwest Grip. He's on set every day, and is managing all the grip and electric. He has a series of trucks and everything that he puts to work every day, and he still goes out and he's a camera operator and he's a director and everything like that. So it's fun those of us that were doing this years ago are still doing it today.
That's I mean, shit, that's what every father wants for their kids, right? To find what they love to do and make a living doing it. Yeah. You know, I mean, besides, you know, selling drugs or doing hits or something like that. But hey, I'll tell you what, if my kid's a fucking hitman, he's gonna be the best hitman that's ever fucking been.
Absolutely.
But so I remembered, you also are quite a singer. As you know, you showed off in what was it? Shaved Eagle, was it?
Yeah.
You know, that national anthem was it was stirring.
Thanks. I sing. I'm the co-lead singer for a band called This Saturday. Casey Schuler is the other singer and bass player. Nick Cody is our guitarist, and Shane Maples is our drummer. I've known these guys for almost 11 years. They've been in a number of bands and started this new kind of pop punk retro 2000s project early last year, and I begged to join and they let me, and now this is a super fun kind of side thing, but also main thing, because I just think it's fun. And the feedback that we're getting on the music is really good, so I've been having a lot of fun with it.
So will we see a musical in your future?
I've joked a lot about writing a musical. As a matter of fact, Matt, Evan, and I have joked about writing a play. Actually, we think that would be fucking hilarious.
I think it could. I mean, fuck, dude, look how good Book of Mormon did.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, you know, who would have thought that the South Park guys would be doing Broadway musicals?
I think we should write Brovet the play.
Yeah. Or you know, Safety Violator or something like that. Yeah. So, fuck. It's too early for me here.
No worries, man. Hey, yeah, we've been in the swing of things for about 3 hours already, and we're doing some more production in a little bit here.
So what's your guys' turnaround from concept to publishing?
It all depends on what the style of project is. Patrick's right in the other room right now, putting the finishing touches on a new format for Free Range American. That's going to be my vlog for Free Range American, called When I Grow Up. So you'll probably see that tomorrow. If we can get it all done. It was filmed in a day, and then he cuts it up and we do the finishing touches on it to make it all polished and cool for you guys, and then throw it out. If it's something scripted, kind of takes a little longer because we got to polish it a lot more than a vlog. And you know, we're developing right now a 22-minute format TV show style that's like Cheers, called Namd, and it takes place in a fire base in Vietnam. It's super funny.
That's good. That's cool. Because like you guys don't seem to ever have to recycle ideas. Which
no, trust me, the idea list is so long, we'll never get to it.
Yeah, that's you know, I think in Shaved Eagle, I think Evan said, you know, you come up with 100 ideas a day, and they never know how many of them are serious. I was like, you know, I've been in a smoke pit in Iraq. I've come up with probably, you know, some of the weirdest shit, but you know,
the most complimentary thing anyone has ever said to me and Evan was JP Sears. He was sitting in front of us and said, "You guys scare the shit out of me because you don't have a boss."
Yeah, the fucking kids are in the candy store. You know, not to mention, you know, to kind of come back to Range 15 for a second, a big thing that really gets me, I don't know why, whether it's attention to detail or whatever, is continuity in a movie, and how something so small, you know, like for instance, you know, the amount of ash on a cigarette, you know, I'll watch it, and if I catch something, that's all I can think about for the rest of the movie. Is like, man, they couldn't catch that fucking cigarette. You know what I mean? And being on how you were talking earlier, such a tight schedule and so many moving parts, I don't think there were many continuity issues in
Yeah,
Range.
because military wise, we pay attention to the same thing. I mean, it's hard. It's really hard sometimes, like because there's so many moving parts to this that you're not thinking about it. I'm thinking about the lines I got to deliver and the things and stuff like that. But yeah, Matt and I alone, and that's not even counting Nick and Ross and everybody else. Matt and I watched the first pass 77 times.
Just looking for shit?
The first edit pass, like it was just refine after refine after refine after refine. And Nick probably had, up around 80 as well, like if not 100. And, the thing is you had a lot of sets of eyeballs between me, Matt, Nick, Rocco, Jack, and then Ross. Everybody was scrutinizing this thing constantly before it ever even got to you guys. So, and we had the rough cut for Range 15, like December of 2015. And I believe the first time we all watched it was at SHOT Show of that January of 16. Yeah, 16. We all went in a hotel room, Tim Kennedy, Nick, Matt, me, Evan, Rocco, Jack, and we watched that first pass. And you're watching, if you've never watched a rough cut, you're watching a movie that doesn't have score. So there's no music, there's no sound effects, there's no graphics, there's no visual effects. So you're watching you have to imagine there's no color, so you have to kind of take a little bit of the scrutiny out and just be watching it for edits. Because then once you're done and you're on picture lock, meaning you're not editing the film anymore, then everybody else goes in. Visual effects, graphics, color, sound design, score, and music. This is wild.
Yeah, because I can imagine, as somebody who's waited for a video to render, in Premiere or whatever, and then you're like, "Fuck, I forgot to cut a part," or I forgot to add an effect in. I couldn't imagine a full length. Fuck, if you keep fucking, especially with that many eyes and stuff, like it's really easy for people to oh, what if we change this a little bit, or this was half a second longer, or we cut it half a second sooner.
That was the pages of notes that the 77 watch throughs between me and Matt had. Like, hey, we need half a second on this at this timestamp. That's why you have that timestamp. But yeah, dude, we were lucky. We were lucky that we had the people that we had, because everybody had their kind of lane, especially going into post-production. Nick really shouldered a brunt of the business stuff of making sure the movie was going to where it needed to go so everybody could see it, and being released on the day it was going to be released, and that all the marketing materials and the trailer and everything like that leading up to it was all going to be worth it. And so he really charged on that. Matt and I were really heavy on making sure this thing looked the best that it could possibly look, and working with Ross and Rocco and everybody in there. It was quite a process. And yes, at the end of the day, the finished product I was proud of. I mean, we know, of course, we know that we can do better. But this was our training wheel movie. So the next one, I promise, you're going to see a lot different.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. And I need to know who came up with the character of the actual villain of the movie, who is Sergeant Major Vandekamp.
So that was that started months before the script was locked. I did a photo shoot with Ross in the military uniform, and we were actually making fun of a dude that is now, I guess, in hiding, because I saw a bunch of stuff come out that he's like wanted for scamming people or something. I don't know, but he was kind of a mid-grade known person in the veteran community that was real cheesy. Like he would always talk about, sorry guys, if you don't hear from me for the next 30, I'm on an op overseas, can't tell you where I'm at. Like, so we would read his Facebook statuses in this voice. And we go, no worries, no bigs. Went into the grocery store with my service dog. Someone told me to get out. I told him to get fucked. Like, and this just became a game. And then when we were kind of doing one of the big rewrites, we added this character, Sergeant Major Gene Vandenham, from this little game that we would play, making fun of this guy.
Well, I think that one of the best kind of running things through the movie is that really the only one that hates him is Matt.
Yeah, and that was the whole intent. Is all of us are blind to everybody thinks he's amazing except Matt.
Yeah, and Matt, he's like, you guys see what he's doing, and you're like, oh yeah, man, he's great, he's fantastic.
Oh, Gene.
Yeah,
no worries, it happens all the time. Relief.
So I think watching that, and I saw him, when he comes in, with his bleached hair and that's about 9 inches long. I was like, who is that? Because I was like, I had to Google. I was like, is this a real fucking person? Because I was like, he got it fucking right. He got it, like the amount of swagger that sergeant majors think that they have.
Of course.
And we
were making fun of sergeant majors and using this character to do it.
Well, and then I Google and I find out that it's Ross, and I was like, fuck, is that the guy from New Guy? And I was like, no fucking way, this, and then but yeah, that's probably one of my favorite characters in the movie. As much as I hated him, it was like he is the real villain. He is like, if you look at it through Matt's eyes.
That's funny, man.
Plus, William Shatner. I mean, and Zombie Shatner, which was great. So, is this, would you be content just making movies and content the rest of your life?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's you're going to see us transition this year away from heavy internet stuff and going back to TV and movie, or not necessarily back, but focusing solely on TV and movie.
Yeah, it'll. I mean, what you guys did with you said, was it 1.4 million? Like I can imagine what you guys could do with a full budget of You know
what? I don't want it. My next movie I'm making this fall is going to be right around 300, and me and Charlie Classic are doing it together, and that's where I want to stay. I have no desire to really do anything 10 million or above. It's just too many moving parts. I'd rather keep the writing strong and the story good, rather than throw money at a bunch of stupid effects and crazy shit. Like, I mean, I have a few period piece ideas that would be extremely expensive, but I can shelve those for 10 years down the road when I got another 10 movies under my belt that all do really, really well.
Yeah, that's fuck. I mean, as long as you're happy, man, as you put out good shit. I mean, like you guys have the following. You guys have the numbers of people.
Yeah, but the thing is nobody in the town is ever going to give us the time of day. It's just, I mean, even now productions have just halted, and
Hollywood's dying anyway.
It's super they're going the wrong direction. Eventually they'll see a tipping point, hopefully, where people are just sick of them shoving what they want to shove down our throats, and that, but I'm fine with that, because all that is opening up a market for me to where if you want to get away from this PC stupid bullshit that everybody wants to throw down your throats, which don't make sense at all anyway. I mean, Disney thanked the CCP for allowing them to film Mulan and the security agencies that helped them do it. Meanwhile, a few miles away is where their concentration camps are. Like, you're fucking stupid. Just stupid. Like, yeah. So, yeah, man. Well, you got a lot to look forward to. If you like the stuff I do, I'm going to be doing some really cool shit later this year. So I hope you guys are ready.
You should do a Civil War musical. That would be like fucking West Side Story. You guys just snap at each other.
Oh God.
Yeah. I don't want to hold you too long. I know you're a busy man, and
we are rolling right from here to rolling cameras. So I was glad I got to sit down with you finally and tell you all some fun stuff about films.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming on. And, I'm a fan for life. I tell all the vets, I'm like, you guys got to check out fucking BRCC and, all that shit.
Well, thanks so much, Andrew. It was great to come on your show. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We'll talk to you later.